What happens when America's favorite football star walks onto one of the most watched morning shows expecting a friendly chat about his championship season, only to be met with personal attacks and disrespect that crosses every line? In just 41 seconds, Savannah Guthrie's smug dismissal of Travis Kelce's achievements would trigger the most explosive exit in Today Show history. The studio lights were bright that morning as Travis Kelce settled into the familiar couch across from Savannah Guthrie, with Hoda Kotb and Craig Melvin seated alongside her at the anchor desk. The tight end had just come off another incredible season, and viewers tuning in expected the usual light banter, maybe some football talk, perhaps a few laughs about his high-profile relationship. What they got instead was something nobody saw coming. Savannah started with what seemed like a simple question. "So Travis, another Super Bowl ring. Must be nice having such an easy job, just catching balls that other people throw to you." The audience chuckled nervously. Travis smiled, assuming it was just playful ribbing. "Well, I wouldn't call it easy. There's a lot of preparation, studying defenses, route running." Right, Savannah cut him off with a wave of her hand. "But let's be honest here. You've become more famous for who you're dating than anything you've actually done on the field. Don't you think that's a little embarrassing for a professional athlete?" The smile on Travis's face flickered. Hoda shifted uncomfortably in her seat, glancing at Craig, who was staring down at his notes. "I don't think that's fair," Travis replied, his voice still measured. "I've worked my entire life to be great at what I do. I've earned everything I have through dedication and—" "Oh, please," Savannah interrupted again, leaning back with a dismissive laugh. "You play a game for a living. You throw parties. You dance around. You make TikToks. That's not real work, Travis. Some of us actually have to use our brains every day." The studio went silent. You could hear the cameras still rolling, capturing every second of the tension building in real time. Travis sat up straighter. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Savannah said, that practiced television smile never leaving her face, even as venom dripped from her words. "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. You've gotten by on being tall and athletic. Meanwhile, people like us, actual journalists, we have to earn our credibility through years of hard work and education." Hoda finally spoke up, her voice gentle but concerned. "Savannah, maybe we should—" "Hoda, I'm conducting an interview here," Savannah snapped, without even looking at her co-host. She turned back to Travis. "Tell me, do you ever feel guilty about making millions of dollars while teachers and nurses struggle to pay their bills? While real heroes, actual important people, can barely make ends meet?" Travis's jaw clenched. "That's a completely different conversation. I give back to my community. I run charities. I work with kids. Just because I play football doesn't mean I don't contribute to society." "Charities?" Savannah scoffed. "You mean tax write-offs? Please, Travis. Let's not pretend you're some kind of saint here. You're an entertainer, a clown who happens to be good at catching a ball." Craig Melvin set down his coffee cup a little too hard, the sound echoing through the tense studio. "Savannah, this is getting out of hand." "Is it, though?" Savannah challenged, now turning her attention briefly to Craig before zeroing back in on Travis. "Or am I just asking the questions that need to be asked? This man gets treated like royalty for playing a children's game." "A children's game?" Travis repeated, his voice rising slightly. "Do you have any idea what goes into competing at this level? The injuries, the sacrifices, the mental and physical toll?" "Oh, here we go," Savannah rolled her eyes dramatically. "The poor, little millionaire athlete wants us to feel sorry for him. Do you know how many people would kill to have your problems, Travis?" "That's not what I'm saying at all," Travis shot back. "I'm grateful for everything I have. But you're sitting here attacking me personally, questioning my intelligence, my work ethic, my character. And for what? What did I do to you?" Savannah leaned forward, her expression sharp. "You didn't do anything to me personally, but you represent everything that's wrong with celebrity culture. You're worshipped for doing nothing of real value, while people who actually matter get ignored." Hoda put her hand on Savannah's arm. Okay, I think we need to take a break. Savannah shrugged off Hoda's hand. We're not taking a break. I want to know why Travis thinks he deserves all this attention. Why don't you tell America what makes you so special? What makes you better than everyone else? I never said I was better than anyone, Travis said, his patience clearly wearing thin. You're the one who invited me here. You're the one who keeps putting me down. If you didn't want me on your show, why did you ask me to come? Because someone needs to call out this ridiculous celebrity worship, Savannah declared. Someone needs to say what everyone's thinking. You're not that important, Travis. You're just a guy who plays a game. The camera caught Craig shaking his head in disbelief. Hoda looked like she wanted to disappear into her chair. Travis took a deep breath, clearly trying to maintain his composure. You know what, Savannah? I came here this morning as a guest. I came here to talk about my team, my season, maybe inspire some kids watching at home. But all you've done is insult me, belittle my profession, and act like you're somehow superior to me because you sit behind a desk and read off a teleprompter. Reading off a teleprompter? Savannah's voice went up an octave. I am a trained journalist. I went to Georgetown. I've covered presidential elections. I've interviewed world leaders. What have you done besides throw a football around? I've inspired millions of people, Travis said firmly. I've shown kids that hard work and dedication pay off. I've brought joy to people's lives. I've represented my city with pride. And yeah, I've thrown a football around, but I've done it better than almost anyone in history. So you can sit there and mock me all you want, but at least I don't spend my mornings tearing people down to make myself feel important. The studio erupted in scattered applause from some of the crew members. Savannah's face flushed red. How dare you, she hissed. You come onto my show and... Your show? Travis interrupted. This isn't your show, Savannah. This is the Today Show. And right now, you're embarrassing everyone who works here with your unprofessional behavior. Craig nodded slowly, clearly agreeing, but not wanting to speak up. Hoda looked at Travis with something like sympathy in her eyes. Savannah stood up abruptly. If you don't like how I conduct my interviews, you're welcome to leave. Travis didn't move. Is that what you want? You want me to walk out so you can tell everyone I couldn't handle tough questions? These aren't tough questions, Savannah said coldly. These are fair questions that you're too fragile to answer. Fragile? Travis let out a bitter laugh. You've spent the last 10 minutes personally attacking me, and I'm fragile? You can't handle the fact that I called out your behavior, so now you're trying to kick me off the show? I'm not trying to kick you off, Savannah said. I'm giving you an option since you clearly can't handle a real conversation. A real conversation would involve mutual respect, Travis countered. A real conversation wouldn't involve you calling me a clown or saying my job doesn't matter. You don't want a conversation, Savannah. You want a punching bag. Hoda finally found her voice again. Travis, we're sorry. This isn't how we usually... Don't apologize for her, Savannah snapped at Hoda. I'm not sorry for anything I said. These questions needed to be asked. Questions? Travis shook his head in disbelief. You haven't asked me a single real question. You've just made statements designed to provoke me. That's not journalism, Savannah. That's just mean. Oh, I'm mean now? Savannah crossed her arms. Because I don't worship at the altar of Travis Kelce like everyone else? No, you're mean because you're treating a guest with complete disrespect, Travis said. You invited me here. I cleared my schedule. I got up early. I came here in good faith, ready to have a nice conversation. And you've done nothing but attack me from the moment I sat down. Craig finally spoke up more forcefully. He's right, Savannah. This has gone too far. Savannah whirled on Craig. Stay out of this. I can't stay out of it, Craig said, standing up. We're all part of this show. And what you're doing right now, it's not okay. It's not professional. And it's not fair to Travis. Fair to Travis? Savannah's voice was shrill now. What about what's fair to me? I have to sit here and pretend like these celebrities are important when they contribute nothing to society. Then maybe you're in the wrong line of work, Travis said quietly. Because your job is literally to interview people from all walks of life, including athletes. If you can't do that with basic respect, maybe you should find a different career. The words hung in the air like a bomb that had just gone off. Savannah's face went from red to white. "Get out," she said. Travis raised his eyebrows. "What?" "Get out of my studio," Savannah repeated. "I don't want you here. Interview's over." "Savannah, you can't just—" Hoda started. "I can, and I am," Savannah declared. "Security!" Travis stood up slowly, adjusting his jacket. "You know what's really sad, Savannah? I actually used to respect you. I used to think you were a good journalist. But this right here, this is just sad. You're so insecure about your own importance that you have to tear down someone else to feel better about yourself." "I said get out," Savannah screamed. Two security guards appeared at the edge of the set, looking extremely uncomfortable. They clearly didn't want to escort a beloved celebrity off the premises, but they also couldn't ignore a direct order from one of the hosts. Travis held up his hands. "It's okay, guys. I'm leaving." He turned back to Savannah one last time. "I hope you're happy with yourself. I hope this was worth it. Because when people talk about this interview, and they will talk about it, they're not going to remember anything I said. They're just going to remember how you treated me." "I'll sleep just fine," Savannah shot back. "I'm sure you will," Travis said sadly. "People like you always do." He turned to Hoda and Craig. "I'm sorry you had to be part of this. You both seem like good people." Hoda looked like she was about to cry. "Travis, we really are sorry." Craig nodded in agreement. "This wasn't right, man. This wasn't right at all." Travis gave them a small smile, then started walking toward the exit. The cameras followed him every step of the way. Savannah called after him. "Running away, Travis. Can't handle the heat?" He stopped, his back still to her, and for a moment, everyone thought he might turn around. But he didn't. He just kept walking, his head held high, until he disappeared through the studio doors. The moment he was gone, chaos erupted. Hoda immediately stood up and confronted Savannah. "What was that? What were you thinking?" "I was thinking someone needed to hold these celebrities accountable," Savannah defended herself. "Accountable for what?" Craig demanded. "For being successful. For being good at what he does. That wasn't accountability, Savannah. That was cruelty." "Oh, please," Savannah waved them off. "He'll be fine. His ego might be bruised, but he'll survive." "This isn't about him surviving," Hoda said, her voice shaking with anger. "This is about us, about the show, about how we treat people. Do you have any idea how bad this is going to look?" "I don't care how it looks," Savannah insisted. "I did what needed to be done." Craig grabbed his microphone pack and started unhooking it. "I can't be part of this. I need to go talk to the producers." As Craig walked off the set, Savannah finally seemed to realize the gravity of what had just happened. The crew members were whispering to each other, looking at her with expressions that ranged from shock to disappointment. Even the cameras had stopped rolling. "What?" Savannah said to the room at large. "What is everyone looking at?" Nobody answered her. They just stared. Hoda sat back down heavily in her chair. "You just kicked off one of the most beloved athletes in America on live television." "He was being difficult," Savannah protested weakly. "He was being respectful," Hoda corrected. "You were being difficult. You were being mean. And now we all have to deal with the consequences of your behavior." Back in the green room, Travis was gathering his things when several staff members approached him, apologizing profusely. He assured them it wasn't their fault, that they were just doing their jobs. But the hurt in his eyes was visible to everyone who saw him. One young production assistant, barely old enough to be out of college, stopped him. "Mr. Kelce, I just want you to know that we don't all feel the way she does. You're amazing, and what she said was completely out of line." Travis smiled at her, a real smile this time. "Thank you. That means a lot." "Are you going to be okay?" she asked. "I'll be fine," Travis assured her. "I've dealt with tough defenders my whole career. I can handle one talk show host." But as he walked out of the building and into the bright morning sunlight, passed. Fans who had gathered outside hoping for autographs, Travis couldn't help but replay the entire confrontation in his mind. He had gone in expecting a fun interview, maybe some laughs, a chance to connect with fans. Instead, he'd been ambushed by someone who seemed to have a personal vendetta against everything he represented. The fans outside were already buzzing with news of what had happened. Social media was exploding. Videos of the confrontation were being shared thousands of times per minute. Everyone had an opinion. Inside the studio, Savannah sat alone at the anchor desk, staring at the empty couch where Travis had been sitting just minutes before. The studio had cleared out, everyone needing distance from what had just transpired. She reached for her phone and saw that she already had dozens of missed calls from network executives. Hoda returned to the desk one last time before leaving. "I hope it was worth it, Savannah. I really do." "It was the truth," Savannah said, but her voice lacked conviction now. "The truth?" Hoda shook her head. "The truth is that you just humiliated a guest on national television because of your own issues. The truth is that you let your personal feelings cloud your professional judgment. The truth is that Travis Kelce walked in here as a friend to this show, and you treated him like an enemy." Savannah had no response to that. What could she say? Hoda walked away, leaving Savannah alone with her thoughts and the silent cameras that had captured every moment of the disaster she had created. The empty studio felt cavernous now, echoing with the harsh words that had been spoken, words that could never be taken back. The confrontation had lasted less than 15 minutes from start to finish, but in that short time, everything had changed. Travis had shown grace under pressure, maintaining his dignity even when being attacked. Savannah had revealed something ugly within herself, a resentment and superiority complex that had been lurking beneath the surface of her professional persona. As Travis drove away from the studio, he thought about all the kids who looked up to him, all the people who believed in him, all the fans who supported him through every game. He thought about his team, his family, his friends, and he realized that one bitter host on one morning show couldn't diminish what he had accomplished or who he was as a person. He had walked into that studio as a champion, and despite everything that had happened, he was leaving as one too. Nothing Savannah Guthrie said could change that. Her words said more about her than they ever could about him. Meanwhile, back at the studio, Savannah sat in the makeup room, removing the layers of foundation and powder that had made her camera ready. As she wiped away the makeup, she caught her own reflection in the mirror. For the first time that morning, she really looked at herself, and she didn't like what she saw. The interview had been her idea. She had pushed the producers to book Travis. She had written the questions herself, and she had delivered them with a hostility that even she couldn't fully explain. Was it jealousy? Resentment? A need to prove her own importance by diminishing someone else's? Her phone buzzed again. Another call from a network executive. She let it go to voicemail. In the hallway outside, crew members huddled in small groups, talking in hushed voices about what they had witnessed. Some were angry at Savannah. Others felt sorry for Travis. A few wondered what would happen next, whether there would be apologies or consequences, or just an attempt to sweep it all under the rug and move on. But deep down, everyone knew that this moment would be remembered. This would be the interview that people talked about for years. Not because of anything newsworthy that was discussed, but because of how spectacularly it had fallen apart. Craig Melvin found himself in a producer's office, recounting everything that had happened. "I've never seen anything like it," he told them. She was relentless. She wasn't trying to interview him. She was trying to break him. The producers listened grimly, already calculating the fallout, already thinking about damage control, already wondering how to salvage the reputation of a show that had just been tarnished on live television. Hoda sat in her own dressing room, still in shock over what she had witnessed. She had worked with Savannah for years, considered her a friend, but she had never seen this side of her before. The mean-spirited, condescending, almost cruel person who had emerged during that interview was someone Hoda didn't recognize. As the morning turned to afternoon, the story spread beyond social media and into mainstream news. Other networks picked it up. Sports commentators weighed in. Fellow athletes posted messages of support for Travis. The hashtag supporting him trended worldwide. And through it all, Travis remained quiet. He didn't post angry messages. He didn't call for Savannah to be fired. He didn't play the victim. He simply went about his day with the same grace and dignity he had shown in that studio. Because that's who Travis Kelce was. Not the person Savannah Guthrie had tried to paint him as, but someone who understood that success wasn't just about achievements and accolades. It was about character. It was about how you treated people. It was about standing up for yourself without tearing others down. As evening approached and the sun began to set, Travis finally allowed himself to feel the full weight of what had happened. The anger, the hurt, the disbelief. He had been disrespected on national television by someone who was supposed to be a professional. But even in those feelings, he found resolve. Tomorrow, he would wake up and get back to work. He would practice with his team. He would prepare for the next season. He would continue being the person his fans believed him to be. Because one bad interview couldn't define him. One hostile host couldn't diminish his worth. Savannah Guthrie had tried to make him small, but Travis Kelce had proven something important that morning. You can't diminish someone who knows their own value. You can't break someone who has already been through tougher battles. And you certainly can't shame someone who has nothing to be ashamed of. The confrontation was over, but its impact would last far longer than those 15 minutes in a television studio. It would be remembered as a cautionary tale about the danger of letting personal biases poison professional interactions, about the importance of treating all guests with respect, regardless of who they are or what they do, about the power of maintaining dignity in the face of hostility, and most importantly, it would be remembered as the day Travis Kelce showed America exactly who he was, not through his words, but through his actions. He had walked into that studio as a guest and left as an example of grace under fire.